welcome to another episode of Metal Sanctuary. And this time we're going to look at the top 10 albums of 1988. Now this is just like 86 and 87 and even 85. This was a rather long list to narrow down to 10. Just a lot of great records that came out, a lot of great debuts that came out in 1988. And a lot of really great records from some veteran bands as well. And to show you exactly how hard it was to narrow this down from 10, just some of the honorable mentions I have in this: Slayer, South of Heaven; Overkill, Under the Influence; Anthrax, State of Euphoria. Even Judas Priest did not make the cut with what I consider to be a really good record, Ram It Down. That's how great this top 10 list is. Megadeth, So Far So Good, So What; Riot, Thundersteel; Bolt Thrower, In Battle There Is No Law. Those are just some of these that didn't make the list. There's plenty of others that I just overlooked for the sake of getting a hand cramp and writing all this stuff down. So let's get into this and start off with number 10. We're going to start extreme. We're going to go grindcore. Napalm Death, from enslavement to obliteration. Just really, this is the record that I think, having watched essential grindcore albums and grindcore bands, this is like the essential grindcore record, and if not their best, probably one of the top 2 or 3 records in their discography. Very fast, a lot different from death metal in the fact that the songs are a whole lot shorter. The vocals are even less intelligible really than most death metal, probably falling right into that brutal death metal area. Politically charged lyrics as well, falling away from like the death and gore that some grindcore, like bands like Carcass, even to some extent I consider Autopsy to have had some grindcore moments. At number 9, we enter into the realm of power metal, and for the first time, we've had bands such as Rainbow and and early Dio kind of testing the waters on what could eventually become power metal. But it isn't until this record, Halloween's Keeper of the Seven Keys, that really starts to push power metal, everything that it has in there, from the keyboards to the epic vocals to the speed metal aspect of things. This record right here, and as far as concept albums, one of the better ones out there as well. Number 8, my personal favorite from this artist, Ozzy's No Rest for the Wicked. This, to me, even the ballads are really good and better than some of the ones he's had in the past. This is the first record in which Zakk Wylde is on guitar, and for me, it's just a powerful record. The drumming by Randy Castillo, the first record he would appear on as well. Great record. Songs like Miracle Man and Crazy Babies. Those are just like the well-known good songs. And there's even better songs like Bloodbath in Paradise, which is my favorite off the record. Number 7, Metallica and Justice for All. The first record to feature bass player Jason Newsted, who came over from Flotsam and Jetsam. A lot of flack is given to this record because, one, there's especially from the old school fans that come even before my time. Cliff Burton's not on the record. It's a new bass player. But I think the majority of the flack that's given to this record is because of the production. Not a whole lot of great production on this album. But to me, I think that gives it a little bit more tone to the heaviness. I think, just personally, in my opinion, on this record, some of the most crushing riffs are on this album. Number 6, I'm going to go to another debut record. This is Eternal Nightmare by Violence, considered widely to be the greatest thrash debut record. and my buddy Ron would agree on that sentiment. I personally feel that the best debut record by a thrash band is actually Bonded by Blood by Exodus, but you cannot dismiss these guys, Robb Flynn and the boys. Robb Flynn, who would later to form Machine Head, just a really good thrash masterpiece, and to be from a debut, it's incredible as well. At number 5, going to go back to the extreme stuff, a little bit more brutal. We're going to go with the second record from Death, which is Leprosy. Personally, this is probably my second favorite Death record. I won't give away what my number 1 is because I have yet to do a top 5 on that debate with anybody. I do believe Ron Haggerty is probably waiting in the wings to do that. But I mean, just a huge upgrade from their first record, Scream Bloody Gore. The production's a little bit better. It's not overproduced. The songs like Leprosy and Pull the Plug, just songs, Born in a Casket, just great songs. Number 4, another second record, and this one is actually my favorite from the original lineup version of Testament, The New Order. Great, fantastic record. The production is miles ahead of the debut. The songs are better. The solos are better. Chuck Billy still doing what he does. New Order, great record. At number 3, King Diamond, Them. A lot of people consider this and Abigail, I think, is the pull, if you will, from which is one of his best albums. I think it's a little lower than that, just for me personally. I have a couple others in mind, but that again is a debate that I have yet to do, which I believe myself and Buddy Porter will eventually be getting into. But for just going away from just the instrumental aspect, once again we pull a concept album, and the concept and the storyline of the album are what make this record as high as on the list as it is. Not to mention the fact it's a King Diamond record. Keeping with concept albums, at number 2, Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime. I'm not going to say where I put it on my top 5 concept album list, so you can actually go check that video out. It was one of my earlier ones, but it is on there, Operation Mindcrime. Just the storyline behind it, the musicianship with Wilton and DeGarmo, and definitely Tate's vocals, one of my favorite metal singers. This album does not disappoint. And at number 1, what's a top 10 list without Iron Maiden? That's right, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Widely acclaimed as one of their best records. Me personally, I prefer a record earlier than that, which is, I've also done a debate on that, so you can go back and see which one I picked on there. But nevertheless, a great record, and for it to be number 1 ahead of all these other records has something to be said for that as well. Just great guitar playing. They took and went away from the previous manner, which was hard-driven, riff-oriented stuff that was just kind of in your face, and they went longer with songs, and they went more into detailed thought of, as far as the lyrics were concerned. Kind of not necessarily a concept record. I look at it as more as a thematical record. They all kind of have to do within about the same thing, but it's not a front to back story. So there you go, my top 10 records from 1988. I'd love to see what your comments are. I'd love to see what your top 10 is. Until next time, stay metal and God bless.